We gonna make it. We're not really spoken about it, but now that it's officially out there, Dennis McCann, they've just released information that the 2 drugs that he tested positive for, I can't even pronounce them. I'll let you.
But what is it? Was it
something or another?
Trenbolone?
Yeah, Trenbolone. And let me just see what the other one was.
Yeah,
I found it. So it was drostanolone and Trenbolone.
Trenbolone, yeah, bodybuilding drugs.
Anabolic, I can't even say it.
Anabolic steroids.
Anabolic androgenic steroids. What on earth does that mean?
So, you know, I saw some fella doing a reel on this, and he was saying why, of all the performance enhancing drugs, why would somebody like Dennis McCann take that? Because it's very easily detectable, and he was reeling off all the stuff he could have been taken and got away with it, or maybe less chance. So yeah, it's very too unlikely drugs you'd probably use in boxing if you're a tested athlete, because they're very easy to trace, and probably not suitable for what you need. More of a bodybuilding drug. So yeah, interesting. And however he's got into that, or you know, whether he's done it off his own back or somebody's advised him, it just shows you that, you know, they've got it completely wrong, haven't they? And he's being found out, which is, you know, shocking, really, thinking that he actually needs to take that stuff.
What do you think would happen ban-wise? Because I'm assuming it's going to be very difficult to disprove.
Well, it don't naturally occur in your body, does it? So, and you could have contamination. There's a lot of things you've got to prove. But it's funny how we've cleared up the Conor Benn case, and he's allowed to box after nearly 2 years, and now another one's fell into the limelight, which is, you know, an high-profile fighter, Dennis McCann. And I think it was UCAD who tested him. So you're talking there, a minimum are 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah, because I think it's 4 years for every substance.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I think he's on an 8-year ban. So that's his career effectively over, unless he can prove otherwise.
How would that work? Because obviously we've seen with Ryan Garcia, I'm sure he was more than one drug. He's serving a year and he's back in April.
I think it was only one with him, but it's the same thing again. It's America. It will have been VADA tested. It's gone to probably the commission or the sanctioning organisation, like the WBC or something, and they've done a small ban. It's different, like I say, in the UK, under WADA and UCAD rules. There's, you know, which is worldwide. It's you know, it's standard. There's a standard set of rules by WADA, and I think it is for every prohibited substance. I think it's 4 years. So that's how it is. But if Garcia's hearing went in front of the WBC or his commission or the state or whatever, they'll have got separate rules to the World Anti-Doping Association. Every state will have got different rules. Every organisation, every sanctioning body will have different rules. It's not standardised like we have in the UK, and it's no surprise why then a fighter like Dillian White, who's failed the test 3 times, has gone and got registered and I think licensed in America. So yeah, it's not looking good for Dennis.
I'm genuinely surprised. I didn't know about the 4 years per substance. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, if that's the case, it's a long time out. And would there be any? I'm guessing the only way that could be shortened is if there's, you know, if you can prove it was contamination or.
Well, it's very difficult to prove. It's, you know, it's a very, very difficult situation he's in. You know, even if somebody came along and said, "Oh well, I gave it him and he didn't know," he's got to then prove that he took every precaution, you know, for that not to happen. And how was that allowed? It's just like, you know what I mean? It's very difficult. So it's not a good place where he's at, is it?
Let's see what happens and how that unfolds. The last thing I want to speak about, Opetaia. I was lucky enough to go out to Australia for the first time last week. I got to witness an Australian boxing event. Great crowd, interesting, different type of culture, even though it's like the drink but I'd say it was a lot calmer than you probably get in the UK. It was a Wednesday night, 5,000 people in the arena. Incredible main event, Opetaia. I know you've seen him against Bradis before, so What did you kind of make of his performance and just the way he comes across? You know, I spoke to him about pain, and he basically told me that he loves pain. He looks for the moments where he has to test himself, and he lives for that.
Yeah. I think the thing with being a boxer, he's only young and he's coming through, and his rise has been quite rapid. And I saw him against Bredis in Riyadh, and he boxed well, considering he boxed before, got his jaw broken, and carried on through that fight. So he's got grit. He looked a bit cautious in the second fight, but that's to be expected. Because I would imagine the first things going through your mind is the first time I get cracked on that jaw again, it's gonna snap. So he got through the fight and he won, and then he's obviously boxed this kid and he's won again. So he's definitely on the rise in, and he's one to watch. And I did read somewhere or hear that Usyk was considering going back down to cruiserweight. And if he did, that'd be an interesting fight. I don't think he will do. Maybe it was just talk, but it'd be an interesting matchup between them two. I think he needs a few more fights, but you have to then ask yourself, well, who is there out there for him to fight realistically? Because there's not, the cruiserweight division isn't bristling with superstars, is it?
Well, I did ask Jai who he wanted, and as crazy as he is, he said he likes the idea of fighting Otto Beterbiev because he wants to taste his power.
I think it could be a fight because Beterbiev is a big fella, but he's very effective at a light heavyweight. Would he be effective? There's no way is Jai Opetaia getting down to 12 and a half.
Well, Otto told me he's got no plans to move up. He said he likes being hungry, which makes him angry.
Yeah. And it's effective, and even though he's 40, if he's not one of these people who struggles to make the weight and he needs the discipline of that, then that's where he's most effective as and going up against a bigger guy and putting on unnecessary body weight is not really his game. He's a machine at the weight he's at, he operates very well at 12 stone 7. So it's not going to happen, that fight, is it?
Probably not. But yeah, an interesting, fascinating fighter for the future. But I just want to get your opinion on what he told me, because it kind of struck me when I asked him about that fight with the broken jaw. I spoke about pain, and I said, what is it about pain? Are you not afraid of pain? You're not scared of it? And he basically replied, what's pain when you consider the emotional pain that you can get from life? Something along them lines.
Yeah. I think with boxing, they like that buzz, don't they? You get hit. If you've ever been hit with a big shot and you get buzzed, there's two things what happen. I remember when I boxed as an amateur and I got hit, and I got my eyes wide open. And you do see stars. You see these flashing lights going all over the place. And then the next feeling is you get hit again or get hit. It's like when you see flies going into these things, what zap them, buzzers, you get that. It's like two different types. So, and it does kind of give you a bit of a buzz, to raise your game. So maybe that's why, but too many of them and you're going to end up blowing bubbles. But getting back to Opetaia, I tell you what I would like to see him fight. Can you guess who I'm going to ask who I'd like to see him fight?
Let me think. What weight?
He was a world champion at cruiserweight.
Not Johnny Nelson.
No, he's still boxing.
All right, okay. World champion at cruiserweight. What is heavyweight now?
Yeah.
Usyk? No, that's the only person I can. Who's gone up to it? Oh, I know what you're gonna say. Your mate Lawrence Okoli.
I think that'd be a great fight.
Yeah, under Joe Gallagher now as well.
I think that'd be getting back down to cruiserweight, and
there's no way he's coming back down to cruiserweight.
Well,
Have you seen how much weight he's put on?
Yeah, but
he's put on 25 kilos.
It's not good weight, is it? It's just fat. He just looks tubby. But that'd be a good fight. If he could get back down to that and box, Opetaia, that'd be a good fight. He won't last very long, but I think that'd be a good fight for him. He might make some money out of it. Who knows?
But what do you think of Lawrence and Joe Gallagher? 2 first-round knockouts.
Yeah, but listen, who knows? It's like he's got to have a real test, hasn't he? I mean, Joe will tidy him up, won't he? He's no two ways about that. I mean, Joe's a good trainer, and it's either Joe's way or no way. So he'll either stick to the plan and do it and improve, or he'll go somewhere else because he won't be able to handle the regime. But so far so good, and I think that's down to Joe.
Under Joe Gallagher, can you see Lawrence Okoli, say within the next 18 months, become a heavyweight world champion?
No, because I think his limiting factor is him, and Joe can only do so much. So I don't think.
You're talking at a time where there'll be no Usyk, no Fury.
Well, that's if there is. But is he going to beat the likes of Daniel Dubois? Is he going to beat the Joe Parkers if they're still around? Natural big heavyweights who aren't having to put weight on to make that weight. They're solid, aren't they? at that weight. So you know, he'd have to be. He'd have to have a situation like it was when he was a cruiserweight, that the division was completely empty, and then he became world champion. It'd have to be like that in the heavyweights for him to become a heavyweight champion.
Okay, let's see what happens. But yeah, Dom, that's a wrap. And again, as I said last week, that BYD have got an incredible offer on for our viewers. If you come down to the BYD showroom in Sheffield, you know, the details are in the description, but it's very easy to find it if you just Google it. But they've got the BYD Seal, which basically looks like a Porsche and moves like a Porsche with the incredible interior. I think the deposit is only 420 something pound. It's 429 pound a month you can get it on. But it is a car with full spec, everything you can imagine under the sun, from heated steering wheels to heated seats, you name it. And it's a car that you've got as well, Dom.
I'm just thinking, we hope realtors will be getting off Spotify for these videos we're doing. We'll be able to get one of them cars, won't we?
Hopefully, yeah. And I tell you what, this big misconception of electric cars losing miles in the winter.
Mine's been the same.
The BYDs don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fact, you know, we've just seen it.
I think the only thing is you've got to put the heaters on more.
Did you know you can actually turn the heating on through your phone? Because Spencer Field.
You know what? I've been trying to. I've got the app for the BYD, because somebody said, "Oh, you can lay in bed and switch it on." Because a couple of mornings I had to defrost. It didn't take long, and I was trying to find how to do it. I'm looking for videos online, and we're down here today, so I'm going to ask one of the technicians how to do it.
Yeah, Spencer Field figured it out, because he was showing me. So yeah, you can turn it on from your
bed. He can't have figured it out, Spencer. He's not bright enough. I think somebody might have told him how to do it.
Well, you might be right, but yeah.
Well, I'm going to get a message off him. After this video goes out, I'll be getting a message off him. He'll either be explaining to me, or he'll be telling me which fella's done it for him. So.
Right, good stuff. Right, Dom, pleasure as always. And yeah, if you're watching or listening on Spotify, thank you for listening in. And make sure you hit the follow and subscribe button on any of the platforms, especially on YouTube. You know, keep getting them numbers up. Thank you very much.
We gonna make it.